Among these forests and rolling hills lie villages, isolated settlements and farms. This is the province of Ra, on the western side of Viti Levu, the largest island in the Fiji group. For these people, the land is crucial to their survival. These rural dwellers are cane farmers or small-scale commercial farmers. Many are disadvantaged as they lack the proper resources that could help them improve their standard of living. The foundation of the Peoples of the South Pacific International Regional Secretariat, FSBI, with funding support from the Asian Development Bank, ADB, embarked on a project developed to address budgetary and resource allocation at community level.
This particular workshop was a training of trainers workshop. So it was to train community members, community organizations or like PCDF and FRIEND who were involved in this workshop to go out into their communities and facilitate training on participatory budgeting in their own communities.
The project is aimed at improving civil society's capacity to engage more constructively and proactively in resource allocation, decision-making, and monitoring service delivery.
Throughout the week, participants were taught concepts in relation to the budget at the domestic level, subnational level, in local government, provincial, district level, and also at the national level, what the government's budget is about, where it's spent, how it's spent, and allowing the community to have a feel of the bigger picture.
The project encourages governments to respond to the participation of civil society in the resource allocation process and to also encourage communities and individuals to develop skills and capacity that is self-sustaining. Salanieta Andikawa is a 24-year-old woman who's had to learn the hard way in making ends meet. Sala, as she prefers to be known, has learned how to make use of resources available to her in order to fend for her family and help relatives in the village of Nawairuku to improve their standard of living. She first attended a workshop on engagement in the National Budget Training Program in 2005 at the Rakiraki Hotel in Ra in the western part of Fiji.
The first workshop was an eye-opener, especially on how to use our resources, our time, and how to budget.
After this one-week training, Sala returned to her village in Nawairuku to put into practice what she had learned.
I learned so much in Rakiraki, and I've started practicing what I've learned at home.
Sala spends most of her time in the family plantation, where ndalo and bananas are grown to sell in the market.
We always prepared 10 bundles of ndalo at $10 each, but sometimes we never meet our target sale in the market. And so we make a deal with the middleman to buy the ndalo for $8 a bundle. We can pack 10 to 12 cases of bananas in one time, and sometimes we can only pack 6 cases. Packing is done every 2 weeks.
Life in the village is indeed hard. Children are forced to study under dim lights powered by small generators that can be shared by 2 or 3 families. For those who can't afford this, the kerosene lanterns serve the purpose. Other challenges faced include the lack of access to basic services due to the poor road condition. Sometimes horses are used to collect water. Villagers travel by carrier to Rakiraki town, 1.5 hours drive from Nawairuku, to either shop or sell their produce. But even these participants at the second workshop on how to better manage resources realize the importance of education as a means of breaking barriers. Fostering partnerships between communities, civil society and governments without waiting for the government to act is an important component of the Making Resource Allocation Pro-Poor project. The project was implemented to improve the lives of marginalized people and to encourage communities and individuals to participate in their own development. Outcomes of the 2-year program, which ended in December 2006, can be witnessed in Nawairuku. 48 households and close to 200 people in the inland village have learned valuable lessons from the workshops. What they have learned, they are now putting into action.
I have been able to buy and get things for my family, things I never was able to get in the past. This is because I have learned about planning for the future and making good use of resources available to us.
The village now has a 10-year action plan addressing priority development areas. Last year, with the assistance of villagers working in urban centers, Nawairuku was able to raise $12,900 to be able to furnish each of the 48 homes with flush toilets.
We have been able to provide all the families in this village with flush toilets. And I ask villagers working and living in urban centers to help us raise the money needed for this project. My argument was that we need the same standard of toilet facilities used in urban centers in the village.
While participating in the national budget process is important, it becomes secondary compared to the need to survive and secure a better living. More pressing is how to generate income and put food on the table, receiving piped water, bridges so that children can walk to school safely, and good roads to allow farmers to take their products to the nearest market. Not far from Rakiraki, about 2 hours away, is the town of Mba. This is where an income-generating program has been developed by the Foundation for the Rural Integrated Enterprises and Development, better known as FRIEND. Single mothers living in this Housing Assistance and Relief Trust Heart Settlement in Mba have started growing pot plants to sell to the Mba Town Council, others cooking food to sell to the nearby Mba Mission Hospital, and a few have taken up sewing for potential customers. What spare money they have is deposited or saved with a FRIEND bank account.
We like this scheme because we don't need to leave our homes to save money. With the Friends banking program, we are not charged for saving like they do in commercial banks.
Then there's another venture that has proven popular not only locally but slowly emerging in the Pacific market. tamarind chutney is prepared by Friend on behalf of senior citizens in rural settlements in Ba.
We buy it from the local people. Even we buy it from Reki to Reki. But most of the people here locally, they send. The ladies in old people in senior center, they bring it to us. We buy it. So we buy $2 kilo. It's good for the poor people, you know. They have their income as well.
Partners in Community Development Fiji, PCDF, hopes that people it reaches in its workshops will be able to achieve equitable, holistic and sustainable livelihoods. And while many participants in the Making Resources Pro-Poor and Participatory in the Pacific have embraced this program, many hope more people will be recruited to undergo similar training workshops, programs and income-generating schemes.
We know how the distance between community needs and government policies. What government sets out for community assistance, or often what they think is right in the policies that they set up, what they think is right. Is it what the communities need? But from the other perspective, communities have, the needs that they've identified, which are difficult to address because of, government bureaucracy or improper procedures through government. We hope that this project basically closes the gap. Then community needs and government policies and lessens the gap, brings them together in dialogue. Governments understand the real needs of the communities, and communities have a better understanding of government budgeting processes.
There is still a significant need for consultation between government and the community on what their needs are and how they can be addressed in the national budget. If anything else, the national budget preparation is a high-keyed affair behind closed doors. However, poor people through this training have learnt new budgeting skills and new approaches to dialogue, but most importantly in understanding the processes involved in preparing budgets, whether nationally, at a community level, or in the home.